Alright folks, here we are at the Misunderstood Evil Genius show at the football portion of our show this week. Carolina versus Chicago. Cam Newton had a chance not to pull a Vince Young last week at home. He blew it. When he goes on the road to Chicago, he's going to look like Vince Young again. Even though in Chicago we all know that Jay Cutler is bipolar, the Bears are still legit. Bears at home. Alright, next up we have Seattle on the road against Detroit. As we all know, Megatron is my homeboy. Because Megatron is my homeboy, I'm going to pick Detroit at home against Seattle. They're great at home, but once you get them out the great Northwest, it kind of sucks. Next up we have San Diego versus Cleveland. San Diego should still be reeling from their embarrassing loss to Denver. Because of that, they're going to take it out on the dog pound. San Diego with the win. I don't pick them very often because I think they're kind of garbage and up and down. I'm going to pick them this week. Jacksonville versus Green Bay. For the second week in a row, we have Green Bay involved in the "we don't really need to discuss this game" award. We don't really need to discuss this game. Green Bay wins. Next up, we have New England versus St. Louis. Now, New England has been really up and down all season, kind of like an Oprah weight fluctuation. But they're playing St. Louis, even though they're on the road, and I've told you guys several times that St. Louis at home, they just play Inception in the locker room, the other team starts dreaming, and they go ahead and steal the victory. That's cheating. The problem is this week is that they're playing against the biggest cheater in the game, Bill Belichick. So I'm still taking New England on the road. Miami versus the New York Jets. Miami always finds a way to piss off Rex Ryan. My prediction this week is that they take a life-size cardboard cutout, put him in a gray Snuggie, and then put it next to a life-size cardboard cutout of a manatee. Now the team is either going to be laughing or they're going to be really pissed. Either way, they're going to lose focus and end up losing this game. Miami sneaks one out on the road, late field goal. Atlanta versus Philly. Some white people are pissed that Michael Vick has a dog now. Whatever. Y'all not focusing on the fact that he's been playing like dog shit. Now, if we take a look at Andy Reid has been a horrible coach over the past 5 seasons. It's almost like he was doing some of his son's drugs as a last-ditch effort to try and bond. Didn't work out too well. His latest heroin-esque move was to fire the Eagles' defensive coordinator a week before they play the only undefeated team in the league. Somehow they're still going to find a way to blame the black guy. Atlanta on the road. Oakland versus Kansas City. This is this week's "do I have to watch the whole damn game" bowl? This week's game is brought to you by Rush Hour 3 and any movie that Hugh Grant has been in. KC at home. Do I really have to watch the whole damn game? New Orleans versus Denver. Last week, New Orleans tried their damnedest to lose that game to Tampa Bay. They could really use a coach. Meanwhile, they're playing Denver, who has 2 coaches, John Fox and Peyton Manning's neck. Denver at home. Side note, Roger Goodell, you almost won the Bitch Made Move of the Week award by appointing Paul Tagliabue to oversee the suspensions. Really, dude? You already been trying to play God, so now you're going to get somebody as old as God to come in and try and take over and make the decision for you? Really? Let's look at this. Paul Tagliabue is 127 years old. He has a hard time figuring out which meds to take, let alone who needs to be suspended anymore. It's like having Mitt Romney have his dead father explain his views on immigration. We're going to get nowhere. This week's Sunday night game, we have the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. I can see New York getting their revenge on Dallas for that opening day loss. It seems that New York has gotten over their Super Bowl hangover despite a big scare from RG3 last week. Giants on the road. Sorry, Cowboy fans. Bunch of shit kickers. Last up, Monday Night Football, we've got San Francisco versus Arizona. How the hell did Arizona get on Monday Night Football? If you haven't asked yourself this question, you will after you watch this game. San Francisco's gonna whoop that ass. Thanks for tuning in to Pep's Picks on the Misunderstood Evil Genius Show. I'll see you folks next week. And anybody that's been winning office pools off of my picks, y'all owe me money. I will find you. I will find you. Stay tuned next week when we have a special Halloween edition. We'll have a visit from a special guest, more comedy skits. We'll figure out something else to talk about besides just football. Make sure you check me out on YouTube at Evil Genius Network, Facebook at The Misunderstood Evil Genius, or Original Evil Genius on Twitter. See y'all next week. Holla at your boy. I'm out like an old linebacker in an Old Spice commercial. Deuces!